Okay, here we are, Classroom in a Book, Illustrator, Lesson 3. We are on page 99. We're going to finish off this scene so that it looks like you see right now. This tab shows us how far we got last time. We're going to be working with some of these drawing modes down here at the bottom. Draw normal is what we usually do. Most documents by default are set to normal, which stacks the shapes on top of each other as you draw them. So you saw that at the beginning of the lesson of our course where we talked about the stacking order in the layers panel, where each subsequent item that you draw gets stacked on top of each other. And that is drawing mode. That's the only mode that, draw normal mode. That's the only mode that we've used so far. The next one, draw behind mode. This allows you to draw objects behind other objects without choosing layers or paying attention to the stacking order. So we're going to add the background with draw behind mode. And then we're going to add some details into this blue circle and make it look like like the globe or the world with draw inside mode. This lets you draw objects or place images inside other objects, including live text, and it automatically creates a clipping mask of the selected object. If you're familiar with Photoshop, it's a lot like using a mask. So we're going to mask out everything except for the blue circle, so to speak, so that only the map image shows through. Okay, so View, Fit Artboard in Window. There we are. Now, you're going to click the Draw Behind button. And as long as this drawing mode is selected, every shape you create using different methods you've learned will be created behind the other shapes on this page. It also affects placed content. So if we were to go File, Place, and choose, if we were to go File, Place, and choose another file to put in here, anything we choose is going to go behind everything that you see so far, because draw behind mode is selected. So we're going to click and hold down the mouse right here, select the rectangle, and we are going to position just at the bleed line, the rectangle, and take it down to the opposite bleed line. Right now the default is white. Go up here and choose a gray, and you'll notice right away your background is gray. You don't want a stroke, so click on the stroke and turn it off, and then Object, Lock, Selection. So anything we do over top of this, it's not going to accidentally pick up and drag this gray background that we just created. Next, we're going to use the Draw Inside mode. And this can be useful if you want to hide or mask out part of the artwork, as you'll see in just a second. So first you're going to get the selection tool. You're going to select the blue circle, and then you're going to choose Draw Inside mode. And if I just hold down spacebar, you see there's this dotted line around the circle, which is showing that this is selected, and this dotted line indicates that we have Draw Inside mode selected. So even if I were to go select, deselect, you're still going to see this dotted selection bounding box around the circle, indicating that we're in drawing inside mode. Okay, let's just show you what this looks like. If you were to go here, click a circle, the ellipse rather, hit D on your keyboard so you get the black and white default color swatches, and hold down Shift to constrain this. You can see only the part of the circle that's inside of the selected object with Draw Inside mode is actually showing up. This part is not showing up because it's outside of the selected object that we have chosen to use for Draw Inside mode. Okay, you can do Command Z to get rid of that and select, actually nothing is selected, so just leave it like this. You can also place content. So we're going to go File, Place, and what you're going to need to do is make sure you already have this image saved to your USB so you can access it here for this part of the lesson. And you can find this image in Edmodo under Illustrator Image Lesson 3. So click that, Place. Now you'll notice you get this loaded cursor. That indicates that when you click and release, you're going to tell Illustrator where you want this image to go. So you're going to click up here and drag and it's going to go really low. But the cool thing is you can still cancel if I go up here. This is selected now, so I can actually hold down Shift to constrain the proportions. Oh, Command Z. Okay, we're going to do this again. So this is selected, File, Place, choose this, Place. Okay, I'm going to zoom out so I can see everything, and I'm going to click up here and get my shape all the way around like that. Now don't worry about what part of the image is actually showing in terms of the map. We're going to play around with that in a second. So select, deselect. Now what you'll do is Command plus so you can see this a little bit better. Now make sure you have the selection tool chosen or hit V on your keyboard to select that. So the blue circle is now a mask. Picture it to be like a piece of paper with a hole cut out so you can only see whatever's behind it where the hole is cut out. It's also called a clipping path. The map artwork and the circle together make a clip group. And they're treated as a single object. So it should be, up here you see the clip group. And you can see here 2 buttons, Edit Clipping Path and Edit Contents. So the clipping path is going to be the blue circle, and the contents are the map artwork. So if you hit Edit Contents, then you can actually pick this up and drag it wherever you want so that whatever portion of the map you want to have showing is the way you want it. So just play around with that so it's whatever way you want. And then you can do that, and then you can hit Edit Clipping button on the left-hand side, then select, deselect, okay, and there we are. So the last part of this lesson is about using image trace. In this part of the lesson, you're going to learn how to work with the image trace command. Image trace traces existing artwork like a raster picture from Photoshop, where it comes in as bitmap or pixels. You can then convert the drawing to vector paths or a live paint object. So this can be useful for turning a drawing into vector art, tracing raster logos, so logos that maybe are pixelized, and tracing a pattern or texture and a whole bunch of other stuff. So choose File, Place, and this time you're going to choose the rocket ship image. So again, you're going to have to save this from Edmodo onto your USB. Hit Place and click anywhere in the artboard that you want. I'm going to Command Z because it makes more sense to file place this somewhere in a blank spot. Okay, there should be, oh, let's go draw normal. I think we need to have draw normal done. Okay, Command Z, go up there, select, deselect. I'm just going back here. Then you have to File, Place, choose the rocket ship, and hit Place. And there we are. Okay, I'm going to hold down my space bar so I can see this a little bit more clearly. We're going to be able to move it into the proper place in just a minute. Okay, click the image trace button in your control panel, and this converts the image into an image tracing object using the default tracing options. This means you can't edit the vector content yet, but you can change the tracing settings or even the original placed image and then see the updates. So you're going to go Window, Image Trace, and in these presets you're going to choose right here 6 colors. Okay, wait for that to take effect. So Illustrator comes with the preset tracing options that you can apply to your image tracing object. You can then make changes to the tracing settings if need be. Okay, so we are going to click the image trace button in the control panel, and then we've already done that. Click Auto Color, which is right there. And the buttons along the top of the image, those are up here. the image trace panel. These are saved settings for converting the image into grayscale. So this would be low color, grayscale, black and white. Below that, you can see that you've got the preset and view options. So under view, you could see with outlines, without outlines, etc. In the mode option, you can choose color, grayscale, or black and white. In the palette option, it's also useful for limiting the color palette or for assigning colors from a color group. We're not going to get there right now. So in this image trace panel, click the toggle arrow next to advanced. So yours will look like this. Then you'll click the toggle arrow and you'll get all of these other settings. So under colors, I want you to change this to 8. Under paths, you're going to change it to 4. We have to wait for these to take effect each time. So change paths to 4. Change corners to 5, and of course you can just go manually type these in. You don't have to use the slider. It's a little bit faster. So we're just going to change that to 5. Noise, you're going to change to 13. And then just like you did before with the bakery file, you're going to select ignore white. And then we'll have just the plain rocket ship without the paper that it was drawn on. Then you're going to close the image trace panel. You're going to click expand up there. And now the rocket is no longer an image tracing object, but is composed of shapes and paths that are grouped together. With the selection tool, position the pointer just off to the side here, and the lesson wants you to rotate it to 30 degrees, roughly. And when we do view, fit artboard and window, it's got it. I think what you may need to do is reposition some of these stars so that you have space for the rocket ship. So do that if you need to. And then you can position the rocket ship here. I found last time I needed to resize it. So hold down shift as you're resizing so that you don't distort your image. And then when you're at this point, you can file, save it as a PDF, and upload it to the appropriate Edmodo file to show that you've successfully completed this. Thank you. Have a good day.